Johnny Cardoso is going to be coming in, a New Jersey native for 3 months. He was born to Brazilian parents in New Jersey, then moved to Brazil, and that's where he's been for the rest of his life. But we'll take it. He played for us with our youth national teams, played for us in qualifying for the Olympics, the one we didn't qualify, the one previous to this one where we did. So he's got some experience with our national team system, and he plays for Internacional in Brazil, and they are currently in second in the table. He has played in 17 games this season, 10 starts, 3 goals, 2 assists. Seems to be really maturing and getting more time and more trust from the coach, almost similar to Yunus Musah, who was kind of on the sidelines, on the fringe, and now he's starting to make more of his minutes and being more of a threat on both ways. And so it's exciting to see him get the call in. And I wonder, to your point, Heath Pearce, is he the Sammy Vines of this group? Could he be one of the ones that we're talking about that could sneak in here if he does well in these 2 games?
Well, when I think about players left out of this conversation, you think about you could have brought in Roldan or Leggett
or Mihailovic or Eric Williams.
Mihailovic is probably
but what I'm saying is these are players that Gregg has gone to, that if you were looking for a replacement, a safe replacement, you could have just gone with those for the camp's sake, right? Now, obviously, Gregg's seeing something and has now found an opportunity. Whether or not he can close that gap between being this replacement and being in the squad, I'm not really sure. That's, we'll find out here in a couple of days.
Okay, so Charlie,
but they got to plan. They got to give him some minutes.
Yeah, of course.
In order to do that.
Well, my question then to you, Charlie, is then who benefits the most from Yunus going out? Is it going to be Malik Tillman? Is it going to be De La Torre, who's only played 10 minutes so far all season for Celta Vigo? They play against Valencia and Yunus Musah. That would have been cool to see them both play at the same time. Unlikely. And now, obviously, with Yunus being hurt, but even with Luka not playing much. Or do you give Cardoso a run? That would be kind of crazy for him to come in and just start for Yunus Musah right off the bat.
But this is the first time we could see Aronson in that attacking position and Giorena on the wide right wing. So
right.
I think it benefits Aronson because it gives him another look in the middle of the pitch because of his movement. He's all over the place, and I could see him and Giorena really working well together because Giorena comes inside, Aronson goes outside, and they could have great chemistry. So it'd be a good idea to see what that looks like. So I think Brandon Aronson, I think he it's an opportunity that he could make the most of. So out of all the players, I think Brandon Aronson is going to get more time now and in a central position as opposed to that right wing spot, which is probably going to be locked down because Giorena is still getting back. But now you can say, hey, Gio, we'll give you a couple runs and see what this looks like.
Okay, so I got this stat. This was off the internet. Matt Hartman did the hard work on this, and then I got to see it from Scuffed and Adam Bells, and appreciate them for having me on their podcast recently. But Matt Hartman said that there have been 597 minutes lifetime of MMA playing together. And of those 597 minutes, 5 of them were World Cup qualifiers, 3 were friendlies, and 1 was the Nations League, most recent Nations League game against El Salvador. That was only for 25 minutes. I think this is a big miss not to get 180 more minutes with these guys together. Not to say they would have played the whole 180 minutes, but then when you take into consideration, too, that Josh Sargent had 0 of those minutes. So anytime MMA has played together, they've never had Josh Sargent on the field with them. When it's MMA, they've played together, of course, but not all at once. Do you think, Heath, to your point, there's an issue there? Do you think we're missing out on an opportunity, or are you just thinking this is just a blip, like you mentioned before?
I mean, thinking through the lens of a coach, of course, right? You've got 180 minutes, and there's some pressure to get the most that you can out of that. So, but I also think it's the realities of a team and a coach, and that we can sit and talk about what the ideal team would be in a lineup, and we debate Aronson and Reyna and all these things, and how do we fit them into the team all the time, right? We talk about what our back line is going to be all the time, and those are for different reasons. But in this one, it does remind you that you got to prepare for the worst and hope for the best when it comes to the World Cup. You need to have a first 13, 14, or 15 players, or at least a few different systems you can play in if you don't have one, because we know you take Yunus Musah out and his ability to connect the lines right into the attack, his ability to come deep, drive through, break lines of pressure on the dribble that opens up the field for other players. Nobody else is going to do that. Luca De La Torre, we've seen starting to play a little bit more vertically. You know, when he first came in, was a little bit more square and backward, but he's not Yunus Musah. And so we are going to have to find a different way to get the ball into different positions on the field. And that requires us to not change the way that we play a little bit, but there might be different routes in which we're going to have to combine without a Yunus Musah. And so you've got to think about what he produces. And now they've got so much data and stats as to what are the things he's doing on his part of the field that are leading to attacks or leading to turnovers or leading to balls won in certain spots, that they have to replace that with something that's going to produce in some way.
I want more heat maps in my life. I think that's what you're putting down right now.
I live for the heat map.
So Charlie, I want you to answer that same question, and I'll answer it eventually too. But this is a new look, Yunus Musah. This is a newly confident Yunus Musah that's been playing for Valencia in a way that maybe he hasn't played. He's shown glimpses of it, and maybe we're asking him to do the same things in previous iterations in camps and stuff. But this is I wanted to see this version of Yunus Musah, who seems to be taking on more responsibility for his club, which I think would ultimately translate into him doing it for his country as well.
Didn't we all? Because I would say that Yunus Musah started to drop deep and play alongside Tyler Adams, and he was the deeper of the two attacking midfielders. So this would be an opportunity for him to be a little bit higher up the field, give support to Jesus Ferreira or Josh Sargent or Ricardo Pepi, whoever's playing the 9, and to see what he looks like now if he's the one responsible for generating opportunities and creating passes in the final third. So yeah, it's definitely a bummer. But like I said, things could be worse. Like he could be out for 6 months.
I think he just jinxed us.
Right? No, so
jinx is real. Something bad's gonna happen now. Thanks, Charlie.
No, come on, positive vibes only. Positive vibes only.
Positive mental attitude, baby. Shout out to Bad Brains. Keep going.
So but as we all know, with injury comes opportunity. So I would like to see if, let's say Yunus Musah got injured in the World Cup, who fills that void? If Weston McKennie got injured, you need to see different options. And so Brent Aronson is doing it in the Premier League for Leeds United. So naturally,
or he hasn't for a couple of weeks. So we haven't even seen Leeds play for a while. But
we've seen what he can do, right? And he's only growing. So give him another run at the 8. And then you have Gio Reyna on the side and see what that looks like. I really think there'll be a lot of positive play with those two on the field, sure. Christian and McKennie, and whether it's Sargent, Pepi, or Ferreira.
No, it's going to be exciting to see. And obviously, we're going to have a standalone preview for the Japan game that's happening next Thursday. That game kicks off at 8:25 a.m. East Coast time. So me and Heath are going to have to be up real early to catch that one at 5:25 a.m. Pacific time. And we obviously are going to go live right after that game ends so we can dive into it. So make sure you still got your pajamas on, everybody, because we're going to have our PJs on.
Wait, that's on Friday, right? That's Friday.
Friday or Thursday? Friday. Sorry, Friday.
Do you see that comment from a true hyena?
I did not.
And then no name. What was the biggest World Cup snub? Landon or Chicharito? For sure, Landon.
The biggest World Cup snub, Landon Donovan or Chicharito? We're taking a sidebar here to answer questions of our lovely community. We appreciate that. Hit like and subscribe
Friday,
if you're.
It's a Friday. We're living
Friday. We're gonna roll with it. We don't have structure. It's just kind of.
Wouldn't you say?
Kind of like Jurgen Klinsmann's coaching. You know what I mean? But is there a but? We don't have any sound effects. Okay,
well,
sorry. No
I would say Landon for sure. Just I think Chicharito's was less of a shock. I think there was some buildup there. Landon's was a shock to me because it was one of those things where that came out of nowhere, and it was like a direct attack after some like things that obviously had been happening behind closed doors, and just the magnitude of it. Even though we all know Julian Green scored with his first touch in the World Cup, guys.
Yeah, I don't
think I think it was more Wondolowski
or Brad Davis.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think it's Julian Green, I don't think it was necessarily Julian Green taking Landon's spot. I think Wondolowski or Brad Davis was the one responsible for taking Landon's spot.
Yeah. Brendan here says if Landon gets that chance against Belgium, he buries it. Jurgen just wanted to flex by bringing Wando. He definitely sent a message. It felt like there was something very personal going on. It feels that way a little bit with Tata and Chicharito now. Some things were probably said behind the scenes. Landon might have thought he was untouchable. He obviously took a little bit of a mental break during a time when I think Jurgen thought the team needed him and counted on him. So I think there's a lot of layers to this whole thing.
Bro, and Julian Green hadn't played soccer yet.
Yeah, I know. Listen. Here's a fun fact. Kick TV. We took a tour when I was with Kick TV. We took a tour of all 3 countries that we were going to play in the World Cup. So we went to Ghana, we went to Portugal, and we went to Germany. And we had the chance to go to Bayern Munich, and Pep had just joined, and we got to talk with Matthias Sommer. And I asked him in an interview about Julian Green and how we stole him. We got him. And he just kind of looked at me like, what the hell are you talking about? This guy hasn't even really played. We're still learning to see what kind of player he's going to be. And once I saw that reaction, I was like, I don't know about this Julian Green kid.
Yeah.
I'm just not sold. If they're like just shrugging their shoulders, like, yeah, go ahead, take him. Then that made me really nervous.
But hey, Heath, I don't know how you feel, but I keep thinking whenever Jimmy talks that Wesley Snipes is going to pop out of the background.
Yeah, he's got that. Yeah, he's got that visor up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I Woody Harrelson in this?
Yeah,
this
yeah.
comparison?
No, like you're a dead ringer for Woody right now.
Yeah. I agree.
I love
agree.
that.
I like
I love that.
Jimmy, Woody Harrelson, Conrad.
I don't need any more nicknames, man. I don't need any more nicknames.